You used to be on musical theatre. You should know how to use a microphone.
Yeah, but I had it just a little one taped onto my...
Did you never use the handheld?
No, we had a little one taped under my fringe.
We're rolling, by the way.
Like
you know we are recording right now.
Oh.
So I've just exposed your musical theatre background.
That's okay.
Yeah. Welcome, Izzy.
Thank you.
My darling. No, not going to do that. We're going to keep it professional. This is a business procedure.
Thanks for having me on.
I've been begging you to come on. You said no. I refuse to do it.
Yeah, I kept saying no.
Yeah, you refused it. But we now actually have a legitimate reason.
We do.
Why is that?
I just ran a marathon.
Well done.
I should have actually worn my...
Oh, fuck yeah, we should have worn the medals.
We should have worn them.
I always forget this because obviously when you wear your medals, some people they wear them for days after. But neither of us did that really.
I haven't worn it once since.
No. But anyway, welcome. Thanks for coming on. Thank you for sparing me a couple of hours of your busy day.
Yeah, I'm very busy today.
Your creator lifestyle, which I've now joined you on. Right, so let's take this back from the start. We ran London Marathon together. You may have seen the TikTok that went out over the weekend. Actually banged.
Yeah, I've been scared to look at the comments because
all the comments have been really nice.
I know, usually when a TikTok does well, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good news, but this is very nice.
For context, I put a thing out on my account and it was me pacing you. And it was a very just short, it was a minute and a half and it was just going through the whole race. And you really, really struggled at points of it. And the whole thing was me just sort of supporting you, getting you through it. You had two sides of the coin. You had the female commenters who said, oh my God, what a green flag. This guy's amazing. What a supportive fiance. And then you had the profile pictureless blokes saying, he is fucking jarring. I'd hate to have this guy running next to me.
Also, why is every video of a woman running a marathon, why is she crying?
Oh, that was a bad comment as well.
It's so ridiculous. Running a marathon is such an emotional thing to be doing. What's wrong with crying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really pissed me off.
So right, let's run it right back. So for those who don't know, Izzy used to be the biggest running hater I've ever met.
Yeah, a big hater.
I used to, when I was at uni, I was training for my first half marathon. I think it was 2019. And you could not understand for the life of you why I would want to subject myself to that. You used to just go to the gym and just twat about for an hour. Didn't really do it.
No.
You did 20 sets of anything but cardio.
No, I did hot yoga. My auntie was a Bikram yoga instructor, so I would do that. Dancing. I did do a bit of running with Amy, but she used to literally run loops around.
Yeah, Amy's
run down the beach and I would literally hardly be running. I would be jogging. And we only did it a couple times, but yeah, she would be going all the way along and then running all the way back to me and then along, and then I'd walk up the... what's it called? Zigzag?
Yeah. But the kind of switching point was I went on this a major health kick at the start of 2023 and I wasn't really running still at that point. I kind of sacked off running for a few years. Yeah. And then it was the back end of 2023 when I was I don't love going to the gym and I want to kind of keep in the good shape. I sort of rediscovered the enjoyment for it. It was a month before. And then I said to you, I think you should come on some runs with me. And you kind of shooed the idea away, but then you were kind of open to it.
I think I saw the impact it was happening, the impact that it had on your well-being. You just seemed a lot happier when you were running.
Yeah, I did. Because obviously, I don't mind talking about this sort of stuff, but I had a really bad period where I was getting quite, I wouldn't say angry, because I was never an angry person, physically and emotionally, I was never angry.
No.
But I would just get quite sort of frustrated by situations and sort of get a bit negative and unnecessarily negative and bring it home, I guess.
Yeah, you just get a bit stressed.
Yeah.
And heated about really little things.
Yeah.
Leaving the house on time in the mornings. You'd freak out.
We used to have arguments when I was walking to work. We used to have arguments because I basically started the day really badly because I was in a shit mood.
Yeah.
And then you're well, now I'm not going to see anyone for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I was kind of trying to tame that sort of thing. And I think I spoke to someone and I then just started running again. And the exercise really helped me getting into the gym and feeling better about myself. It just massively helped. Then started running because I was I feel this is a great time to be away from my phone because I think I was just chronically on my phone all the time with work, with social media, all this stuff. And then it was great. And you saw that positive impact. And then I said, let's get you a pair of running trainers and make a little series out of it.
Yeah, I needed routine. I really needed routine. I think I was at uni and then I joined a grad scheme, but it was lockdown. So I think over the Was I think I was on that grad scheme for about a year and a half.
Your final
and
year of uni
time,
was COVID.
Yeah. And then I joined the grad scheme and that was also COVID, so I wasn't in the office. And then I got a remote job for Wicked, who was in America. So I traveled to America like once or twice, but all my colleagues were in the US. And then I became full-time content creator. So I've never really had a set routine. Well, for years now, I haven't had like a real set routine. Or colleagues. And I feel like I just needed something not something to get me out of bed in the morning, but I just needed a purpose, like a wider purpose. And running has given that to me, but we can talk about that more. But I think that was the main thing for me of getting into running, because I saw the kind of the benefits in terms of routine and how you had like a set plan and you had to go on these set runs and you were motivated by that. And I was like, you know what, I feel like I need a bit of that. Because I had like my Pilates and my yoga, my class pass and stuff, but I think I just needed that.
Let's go back even further, actually, because you touched on the full-time content creation thing. I think a lot of people don't realize this, that you have actually been in this game for 6 years now?
Yeah.
You've been making content on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you were the OG food content creator, like, I guess class of. You were posting pictures of your plate and it was content. That's all you need to make.
Before reels were even a thing. It was the aesthetic photos with like the matching tea towel and the bits of like herbs dotted around the plate to try and make it really nice, like way back.
Obviously I know the story, but for people who don't know the story, how did you get into it and how did it take off?
So I was at uni at the time and my mum lived in France, and I remember deciding to go vegan, and it was a New Year's resolution. Is that what it's called?
What?
Resolution.
New Year's resolution, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that sounded weird. But yeah, it was a New Year's resolution, and I was in France at the time at my mum's, and I was like, right, when I go back to the UK, I'm going to start a page. And it was basically like a food diary situation. I wasn't like, I'm going to become a influencer. It was just like, I'm just going to start a little separate page, didn't tell anyone about it. And just document what I'm eating, and then my mum can see what it's like to eat vegan and stuff like that. So that's how it began.
Was your mum toying with the idea of doing it?
No, but it was just mum and I close. So it was just like, it's a way for her to see like what I'm up to and stuff and what I'm eating and how I'm going, because I decided I was going to go vegan when I was with her and we were chatting about it. So yeah, that's what I did. And then I did it the first couple of months I was at uni, and then it was lockdown, moved back home. And everything was just at home, like exams, like you couldn't do anything. And so then I just got really into my page and put all my energy into that. And then at the same time, no one else could do anything either. It was like the banana bread era, where everyone was at home making banana bread. That's how I describe it. And I was obviously sharing loads of recipes, and I started a hashtag independent with Izzy the Vegan, because my username used to be Izzy the Vegan. And
well, actually, before that, it was Hungry Eco
Vegan. That was way back. But yeah, so I started that hashtag, and I would nominate people to support independent businesses locally around them, because businesses were struggling due to lockdown. And that's where it all began. But
you started getting trajectory.
My food.
Yeah. And then obviously from that point, you were like all guns blazing, but you balanced it with work for a few years. And then you went full time. When was it? Like 2.5 years ago now?
I think it's been about 2 years.
And that was like, you went full time as I was starting at the Feathers, I'm pretty sure. More or less. You were doing like a small social media job on the side to kind of keep an extra bit of money coming in.
Yeah.
But you were pretty much full time with your page.
I'd had my page for so long at that point. And basically there was a bit of conflict of interest in the job that I was in, because I was working for a vegan food brand, and then I was getting brand deals offered to me for vegan food brands. And so it was just a bit of a clash, and I think it was an easy decision. My page is me, so it just grows with that.
Yeah, exactly. And you have new interests and new hobbies and new kind of personality traits that you want to explore and show your audience as well. Right, so obviously I got you into running was November 2023.
Yeah.
Took you on your first run, made of it. You can actually find this on our social media.
You can. And I was so livid at you because you made me run a whole extra kilometre.
I had my watch on the wrong metrics.
Yeah.
I thought it was on kilometres and it was on miles.
Yeah.
So you actually ran 3 miles instead of 3 kilometres.
Oh, was the first run supposed to be 2, but instead we did 3?
The first run was supposed to be 3.
Was it supposed to be 1K and we did 2? I know we accidentally did a whole
I can't remember.
But either way, I know.
Point is, I was on miles and not kilometres, so you ran longer than you should have, and you were like, this is the longest thing ever, what the fuck? And then,
and it was like 2 kilometers.
Yeah, and 2 kilometers off the bat.
I was so livid.
Yeah.
And it felt like so far.
It was hard. I remember it being like a real challenge. And then when we got up to we did a 3K run, and it was 1.5K out of the flat, 1.5K back. And I remember that being a moment where I was like, wow, like you actually just ran 3K.
Yeah.
And I feel like social media now, because everyone's running, back then, like this is a genuine thing. Back then, that sort of series did so well because it was so nice and relatable. And I think people saw a lot of comfort in the fact that it was me who'd done half marathons and stuff before. At this point, I'd never done a marathon. And you, complete beginner. That's a relationship dynamic that happens, whether it's the guy who's the beginner or the girl that's the beginner. Like it's quite often a relationship dynamic that people kind of want, if that makes sense. But now, if we were to post that video, people would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
They would be so angry at it.
Even back then, I remember getting some not very nice comments. I think when I was training for my first ever race, which was a 10K.
Yeah.
I did a video about running my longest run ever, and I was so proud of myself, and I can't believe I'm going out to run 9K. And for me, that was a really big deal. And I remember getting comments being like, 9K, is that
really
all you've run? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
If you'd posted if you post that now, which is so bad, it would blow up with the amount of hate.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
Yeah. But got to my first 5K in New York.
Yeah, we did.
Cool.
We marked it. Was that like we did 6 videos? That's this like 6th video or something.
I think that was the 5th. No, that was the 5th video, 5K.
Okay, and then we did that in New York, and I remember it was a really cold like December morning, and we went out by Dumbo. And we kind of didn't really know a route. And I was like, oh, this area looks nice. Let's just run along the river. Yeah. We started running along the river, and it was just cut off like 1K in. So we couldn't really run anywhere. Do you remember? And then we had to run back on ourselves. Oh,
yeah. I think we just looped once. But it was nice.
It was nice, but definitely could have found a nicer route in New York.
True, but we got to see the Statue of Liberty. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, you did 5K, and then it was just onwards. And then you had the 10K race in March, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think the best tip if you're starting out running is to get races booked in, because it's nice to have something to train towards.
I can't like train without having a thing in the calendar because I feel like structurally I'll probably get to the point where I can, but because I'm still in that sort of infancy of training for big events, I feel like just keeping myself plateaued, I'll feel like shit, but I won't know how to change it. So for example, say I have nothing in the calendar, I'll feel like I've got nothing to work towards, but I'll really want to get out and train for something. But instead of getting out and training for it, even if something doesn't exist, I just won't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so November 2023, you go on your first ever run. And then April 2025, you've run London Marathon.
Well, I had done 2 halves by that point and a 10K, so it was just the next thing. Did it with Alzheimer's Society. I have grandparents on both sides, and my granddad was a running coach for my mum and auntie. So running has been like a massive part of their lives growing up. So I feel like maybe that's why I've like fallen into running so seamlessly, because it's in my blood. Like Mum and Auntie Lisa were athletes, and they were incredible growing up.
You were quite rapid as a kid though at school, weren't you?
Yeah, at school. I remember always coming second place in like the very short distance sprinting. Like I can be pretty speedy at short distance. So I really want to build up my 5K. That's my next thing. So yeah, I really wanted to do it for a charity, and so I applied for the Alzheimer's Society, and I got a place on that, and then it was real, and I was like, shit, I actually need to train for a whole marathon now. But I feel like it didn't actually feel real until I did it. I was like, oh, it's fine, I've done a half, what's another one of those? Yeah. And then you get into the thick of training, and you're doing like 26 Ks on the weekend.
I feel like you become so desensitized to the distances as well. You don't really ever think about the fact that you are running that distance, which once in your head seemed unfathomable. How did you get past the I hate running stage to get to the point of signing up for a marathon?
I think you have to get past 10K, I'd say. I think 5K was a real sticking point, and it was an achievement. But I think even after that 5K, I wasn't like, oh, I love running. I still found it quite hard. I think you have to just build up your fitness a lot to then start enjoying it. Yeah. And it takes a long time to do that. You need to make it a real routine. You need to be doing it a couple times a week for a long period of time. You need to get up to 10K And I think it's about building your confidence up with it as well. And then you can start enjoying it.
What was the one thing that helped you build your fitness up and confidence up?
Just running a lot, basically. Like that is the best thing to do. Just go on lots of
Can I just add as well? I feel like when you say running a lot, what you're running isn't like...
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, I run 3 times a week and that's always been my base for all of my races that I've done. I think you see a lot of people online running like 4 times, 5 times a week, like double sessions. And you think you have to be doing that much to get a good time.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily true. And I had a family friend that has run lots of marathons and is a great runner, and she's always only ever run 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what, I think that's a really good base for me. So I've always done 3 training runs a week.
Also, it means you can fit it into your life. Like you don't have to completely pause everything.
Yeah. But so it's just about building up your fitness, building up your strength as well. So I should do more, but I had been doing 1 strength session a week as well with my PT Paige, who's been on. So yeah, I think it is all about building fitness and stuff.
I think as well, new runners that come in, because I had this issue to a certain degree, but I think I got quite lucky. But now I've kind of broken through that gap. When you're a new runner and you're doing these sort of this load, which is progressive, like let's say you're starting off and you're doing 10K and then you move to 15 and then, you know, all of that in a week, eventually get to a peak week of 45K. Yeah. If you're someone that's not used to doing that, but over time you're becoming used to it, your legs are getting used to it, fine. But if you're not implementing the strength training, your legs are just going to be so damaged anyway. So what you almost need to do is you need to preempt this and be like, right, as a new runner that's suddenly doing a bigger load, I need to do more strength training. Yeah. And do you think, because you did 1 session a week, it probably wasn't enough?
I think it was fine up until half marathon stage. I've been running for 1.5 years and I've never had any issues. And I mean, to this day, I still haven't had any injuries. Like my IT band isn't an injury.
It's an overuse issue.
Overuse and tension. And the same with my Achilles is because of overuse and tension in my calf.
Yeah.
But I've never been injured. Yeah, the best way to avoid getting injured is preempting that, doing strength training, making sure you're building up your distance gradually as well.
Also as well, something I got onto you a lot about, and I don't want this to come across like I'm being like naggy to Izzy because it's not the case, but I really had to hammer it home to you about eating, because like you're one of these people that when you're busy and stressed, you just don't eat.
Yeah.
And you'll be at home and I'll get home from work at like 6 and she's like, all I've eaten today is this. And she's done like a 10K run in the morning.
Yeah.
This, by the way, was obviously before your marathon training. This was like early in your running journey. In the marathon training, you've been very conscious about sort of fueling and making like recipes and stuff that have been good for your fueling.
Yeah. I think taking up running in general, like I think we'll going back in time a bit again now, but I've got so much better with my eating and making sure I'm fueling and eating enough, because when you're running, you have to. A lot of people actually put on weight when they take up running because you're having to take on a lot more calories.
I always put on weight before a race,
for running. But that is one thing that running has actually done for me. It's really benefited my relationship with food. Because I mean, years ago, I've had history of not having a very good relationship with food. And running has really, really helped me.
Do you still think there's a potential worry amongst women who are getting into running and exercising that there is that under fueling element? Like we see a lot of like petite women get bad injuries and stuff when they take up running because they're still not fueling. They're thinking that they can still do a calorie deficit.
Yeah, I think it's both men and women. I mean, both would have these issues, but yeah, I think in general a lot of people do get injured or they're not running to their peak performance because they're not fueling enough before. It's such an important thing that people forget about, but I think women especially, we need to fuel more before runs. I know that there's a lot of science behind it. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know it's more important
this
for women.
isn't scientific backed advice.
No,
guys.
This is not. But I know it is more important for women to fuel before working out than it is for men to fuel before working out. But I've found that when I do tempo runs early in the morning, if I've rushed up and haven't had time to have a proper meal and I'll just have like a banana or just have a coffee, like I generally aren't going to hit those paces, and I know that I won't.
The session will be affected for sure.
Yeah, but if I'm fueling and having like a really good bowl of overnight oats, letting it go down for about an hour, or like having some toast, peanut butter and banana, the classic like pre-run fuel, if I'm doing that, I know I'm going to hit my speeds and I can run so much faster.
Yeah.
And my performance is so much better. And same like before a PT session, if I've had a coffee and fuel, I'm lifting heavier and I'm finding it so much easier. Whereas if I don't, I'm not.
All right, so look, let's go over some of the London Marathon moments, okay? Let's talk about the race itself. So you've done your training, race day rolls around. I want to just go back to the 32K long run you did a few weeks before in your peak week.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
It was horrible. That's when the IT band entered the room.
I think our relationship was very much tested on that day. And I think a lot of people message saying, how on earth do you like work together when you're exercising together? And the fact is we don't, okay? We have had many a row where it's not been pleasant. I think when we did the half marathon in November, one of the training runs, I was pacing you. And this is my first ever taste of pacing Izzy. I was telling her to speed up and slow down, all of this sort of stuff. And you were just like, no, I'm not having this. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Why don't you want to be told what to do?
It's so funny. Everyone always watches our videos and says like, how are you still together? Like, how are you running these distances together and not falling out massively?
Yeah, well, we're not going to show the actual fallouts because realistically, yeah, that just doesn't end well for anyone and just brings about public opinion. So I don't want that.
Yeah, we've shown like little nibbles and stuff in some of our videos, some of our running videos. But yeah, of course, we're going to piss each other off when we're running like such long distances and running together. But it's funny. Like, we'll laugh about it afterwards. But
we do.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing. In the moment, I know it's not that deep because I'm like, if I've wound you up and you've wound me up, I just know we'll laugh about it the next day.
Yeah, like it's not that deep. It's just running.
Yeah.
But in the heat of the moment, yeah, if I'm really trying hard to run and then you're in my ear saying, run faster, or you're not, like, shut up, like I'm trying. I feel like I get like really, like I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm trying. I know that I need to be running faster. And then for you to then tell me I need to run faster, I feel like we're so much better at it now. Like we set it up better for it to be successful. Like, you know that you're not just gonna like tell me you need to go faster. You'll say you're currently doing this pace or whatever, and like you give me more words of encouragement. Whereas like
on that 32K run though, I was a star fiance. Yeah, I was following on a line bike, handing her gels. I was being an incredible person, but she just was not having any of it.
It was really nice, and
afterwards you were like, you were actually so lovely.
The thought was there, but I was in an absolute hole. It was horrible. We started the run far too late on in the day, so it started getting very hot. The park started getting very
like
busy.
9:30 when we started.
The market was on. You couldn't even to walk through that park, you would have literally been like a sardine. Like, it was so busy. And then you were on a Lime bike, and then I was trying to like dart in and out. There was food. I was very overstimulated, actually. I got really overwhelmed.
That's a common theme.
Like, there was just like the smells of like all the food vans, people everywhere, like you there, like on your bike, like saying stuff to me. And then I had music on, and then I was like trying to think about my pace. There was just so many different things coming into play. And then obviously my IT band started hurting and I didn't know what it was. So then I got really stressed and overwhelmed, thinking I had a severe injury because I just never felt this pain before. And it was my longest run of my whole training plan. I'd built it up so much. I was already really anxious about it. And then that happened. And so there was just so many things. And I knew you were trying to be helpful, and it was so lovely of you. And, but actually I literally just wanted you to piss off. Like, I didn't even want to see your face. Like, I didn't even want to let alone hear your voice, even just like see your face like in my vision. I was like, just no, like just stay away from me. And then you were like trying to get me to like have a gel. And I was like, no, because I'd locked in and I was like, I need to finish this like race pace section. And then when I go back into conversation, like I can then think about anything else. But like at the time I was like, I literally can't think about anything else apart from finishing.
But the best part about it though,
my vision.
The best part about it, I didn't fuck off. I just stayed there like an annoying prick.
And
I was just in your wing mirror the whole time.
Suddenly I heard that grating.
Yeah, someone made it about me. So don't bring that one up.
That's what I was hearing, and it was just you on your bike, like in the background. And I was like, just fuck off. And then I remember when I'd finished, and I'd said to you, please just like leave me when I finish.
Because I knew if I'd left you when you finished and I'd fucked off, you would have been like, oh, you weren't there when I finished.
No, because I said, please don't be there.
Because I was getting content of you as well. And so you finished your run. I got this really cool video, of you finishing the run, of you like sat against the wall, like, oh my God, so emotional. You just done 32K. It was a sick shot. And if I fucked off like you'd asked me, I wouldn't have got that shot.
Was it a sick shot? I haven't used it in anything.
I thought it was quality. Anyway.
But yeah, I was just like, go away, and then just like went home.
The point remains, I've been with you for 10 years, yeah. I know when you say to do something, if I don't do it, it will end up being a net positive for me.
Basically, the long and short of it is we have no tip and trick of how to get along with each
Trial
other
and error.
when you're running together. But yeah, you just got to accept that like at some point you're going to piss each other off and like bite at each other. But like, all in all, it's not that deep. You're on a run. You're going to piss each other off.
There's going to be harder trial and tribulations in your life as a couple than a run.
You'll laugh about it after.
The one tip I actually have given on this pod a few times is what I did for you in the end for your successful sub 2 attempt for the half marathon was just tell you your split times because you know yourself what you need to get to achieve a certain time. So instead of me saying to you, speed up, slow down, what are you doing? I would just be
what are you doing?
I'll be like 5:30, 5:37, 5:45. Let's get it down to 5:35. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of stuff, and it worked really well.
Exactly. Because then I feel like it's in my hands and you're not telling me what to do. You're telling me what I'm doing. And then I know, okay, I need to speed up. I know I need to. And if you just keep repeating my slower like paces, I know I need to speed up. And that worked well.
You know what's so funny? Obviously, we both ran the London Marathon together, but every time we've seen a friend or a family member, it's just like to Izzy, oh my God, Izzy, well done for running London Marathon. It's like, yep, I ran it as well, guys. I was there.
Yeah, it wasn't your A race though, was it? Like your
still ran it.
Paris.
I still did the marathon.
You're just having a party.
It was so fun. You were literally
just like zooming around, like revving the audience, revving the crowds up. Like right, you had a great time.
We keep going to talk about London Marathon.
Yeah, I know. We were supposed to speak about this at the start.
It's fine. It's all good. It's fine. I'll keep people watching. So London Marathon, the training rolls around. You've had the IT band injury. You sort of rein it in really like from week 3. Kind of start the early taper to make sure your knee's okay. And then you get to race day. I was confident that you weren't going to have any issues on race day because I genuinely thought that because of the way that you tapered and you'd done like 4 or 5 5K easy runs and not even had an inkling of pain. So I was like, you know what, maybe with all the stretching you did, all of the prehab and rehab you did, I thought maybe you'd be all right. So, but for the first 5, 6K,
let's talk about what I originally thought I was going to get and then what it changed to. So basically on my runner training app, through all my training, I've hit all my paces, sometimes gone above and beyond my paces. Like the training was going really well.
Show off.
The training was going really well up until that 32K run. And I was on for, the training app said, a 3:52 to 4:0 something, just over 4.
3, I think, 4:03.
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of on for. And I thought, maybe I could do that. Like, who knows? And then literally, what just happened?
Just spilled water over myself.
Oh.
It's everywhere.
And then there was 2 weeks of when I was in tapering and I was having my IT band that I was taking things a lot slower. Should I pause?
I've just spilled water over myself, so I'll put a jumper on. Splash.
And then basically, then I wasn't hitting my targets. I wasn't hitting my distances. And the runner app changed my predicted time and pace goal. So instead of my pace goal being 5:40, it changed it to 5:45 to 5:50. And it changed my finish time to 4:15 or 4:12 or something, basically. And I remember feeling really upset when I saw that. But even so, I feel like that was still kind of, it was all slightly unrealistic in my head.
Yeah, because I knew, and this is no shade on you whatsoever, I knew the place that I'd gone to during Manchester Marathon to get sub 4. And it was like my starting pace, I ran for first 22K, I was like 5:25. And I knew that wasn't going to happen in London. Yeah,
for a whole marathon. And so when I'd seen that, I then had a little word with myself and I was like, okay, well, I think actually realistically, I'm probably going to get a 4:40. That's what I had told myself in my head that realistically I was going to, that's what I told myself in my head that realistically I was going to get and what I was going to go for was 4 hours 40. So that was my base. And then we had our little chat and we made our little plan of our A, B and C.
I didn't end up putting this in the YouTube video because I didn't want there to be any narrative about it being so far off the A goal as well.
Yeah.
Because I was obviously like, you running the marathon in the position that you were in November 2023 is a fucking insane thing. Well, regardless of where you are, running a marathon is incredible.
Running a marathon
is incredible.
Yeah.
And then for you to have the injury setback that you did, and then for you to kind of just push through, we probably should have just like not been as cocky and set them goals. So that's why I took it out the YouTube video, which will be out, by the way, by the time you guys are watching or listening to this. However, A goal, we set 4:15.
Yeah.
B goal, we set 4:30, although in the footage I said 4:20 stupidly, but it was 4:30.
4:30.
And then the C goal obviously was just to get over that line.
Yeah. And then in my head, I thought I was going to get 4:40.
And we ended up getting 4:55, so not far off.
4:55, so not far off considering the heat on the day.
I didn't even think about the time after when you told me your knee was hurting about 14k in. I didn't even think about the time from that point.
No, it wasn't about that at that
Yeah.
point. I think generally for me, it wasn't about the time anyway. Like, of course, we all have a goal in mind and something that we want to achieve, but genuinely running the London Marathon and getting across the finish line was good enough for me. Like, that's what the whole thing was about for me, and meeting my target, which I met the night before.
That was special. Really lovely.
The Alzheimer's Society. So for me, it was for the Alzheimer's Society, and it was just to prove to myself that I could run a marathon. It wasn't about the time. And I had decided that early on. Like in January, I shared a reel asking, should I go for a time for my first marathon? And this was before my training block. It was like literally on like the first week of my training block, I'd asked that question. And every single person was like, no, don't do it. Like, it's your first one. You can't do your first marathon ever again. Like, enjoy it, soak it up, and then you've got like anything's a PB, and then you've got kind of that to beat next time you do one, if I do one again.
Yeah, no, and obviously the day itself was just insane. Like, it was an amazing. It was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Yeah. It was incredible.
Best and worst.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
it was so. When we saw family and stuff, it was so special. We'd go back to the overstimulation thing. Like, it's a common theme with you. You get quite overstimulated quite easily.
Yeah.
When we went over Tower Bridge, I was fucking loving it. I was like, this is the best thing ever. I turn around to you and you are just in the pits of hell. Yeah,
I definitely enjoyed Tower Bridge for a moment, and then I just felt really overwhelmed. We started off speed,
on track.
And we were on track, and I was a minute ahead of my A goal.
For 10k, we were a minute ahead, or 5k, I think. Yeah. I can't remember.
But the IT band pain came in the earliest it's ever come in before. And then it just got in my head, and then I got really hot. I mean, now I know what it's like to run through the fiery pits of hell, literally.
Yeah.
It was so hot. It was ridiculous. So, my heart rate was going higher than it really should have been for the paces that I was running, and everything was just that.
But we actually had a similar heart rate through the whole race.
I think mine was actually better than yours, Sunny.
Well, not better, different. Be inclusive of all heart rates here.
Fitter.
No, it's because you weren't pushing yourself hard enough.
Sonny, my brother-in-law, was analysing ours after.
He was, yeah.
Mine was better.
He's a stats geek, our Sonny.
He's a numbers man.
Every time we'll do something, he said, "Yeah, check the Strava." I was having a look at the stats. I was like, "Oh, nice one, son." Yeah.
But I guess that, like, I know that I've got so much more in me.
Yeah.
So that's quite exciting. But yeah,
that's the thing. If you were doing like a 1:61 for the marathon, your heart rate is just probably naturally quite low, I think, as well.
It's not.
Is it not?
Because in other runs it goes a lot higher.
Okay. Yeah.
So
maybe. All right, cool. So we're going through the race. Any like sort of real high points for you? What was your favourite moment of the course?
That's really
apart from the finish line, you can't.
Yeah, when it was all over. I really liked Cutty Sark.
That was cool.
I think that was the first real big moment.
It comes over sooner than like you think as well.
Yeah, and the crowds were just absolutely ridiculous there. Like, that was the first major crowd moment. It was unbelievable. Like, I've never seen anything like it. But it's really hard to pick one amazing moment.
It was weird
every time I saw a friend.
Yeah, like, by the time we started our thing, it was so late. It was like 10:45.
Yeah.
We started, and the crowds were packed by that point.
It was crazy.
It was mental. And I mean, for me, the best bet was that patch of embankment where there was like every like run club and brand and stuff all posted up.
That was amazing.
So sick.
And I saw lots of friends and family along that final strip.
Yeah.
And there was that amazing moment where I saw my dad, sister, brother-in-law, and my niece.
Yeah,
and
let's talk about
it. It made
that.
it onto the London Marathon's official Instagram
So
reel,
the London
which is
Marathon
really cool.
posted like a week recap or whatever. It was like a week ago today. And I put on my story the day after London Marathon basically saying, we saw a videographer right by us filming our whole interaction with the family and we need to find that footage.
Yeah.
And then the London Marathon post it and it's obviously their videographer or a freelancer that's working with them. A girl sees my story sharing it saying, we need this full clip.
Yeah.
Works at London Marathon. She's like, yeah, I'll ping it to you Tuesday.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get it today.
We'll get it today.
But yeah, that was just such an incredible moment because not only was it filmed by them, but also a stranger stood next to my family, filmed the moment as well, and then said to my dad, oh, I filmed that. Do you want me to airdrop
it was serendipitous, wasn't it?
And so they airdropped it to dad.
Yeah.
And so that moment was captured by two different parties separately that we don't know.
Yeah.
And it was just a really lovely moment. And my sister's not a crier. Like she doesn't cry really.
She's a stern solicitor.
And she was crying. My dad was crying. Everyone was crying.
The beautiful moment.
But yeah, so because a lot of people, one of the comments on our viral TikTok was saying, oh, don't stop and hug people. Like your brain will switch off and then blah, 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 blah. But
Bro, she wasn't trying to win it. Relax.
I wasn't trying to win it. I was trying to enjoy every moment. And I actually...
By the way, sorry to interrupt. These pricks that say this stuff, in TikTok comments, do they just not think, like you're not trying to compete? You're trying to just enjoy the London Marathon. Do they not think, hang on, oh, they're running it together. This looks really nice.
They're just random middle-aged men that have probably never run in their life, though.
But I don't think they're real people because no
photo. They're just.
But no real person doesn't think before commenting that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just irrelevant, really. But I mean, I gained energy off of like every hug that I got from my family and my friends and stuff. But then I started getting really emotional, and just every time I saw anyone, I just would cry. But yeah, it was emotional. I just cried loads. It was so hard. It was 100 times harder than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I knew that running a marathon was going to be really hard. But I think apart from that 32 where I had some pain, in my other long runs, I smashed them.
Yeah.
Like they went really well and I really loved them. And I was like, whoa, like I really love running far. This is actually really fun.
Also, you practice fueling really well and stuff.
Practice
like you
fueling
know
really
you were
well,
good with your gels.
All of that. So
Yeah.
I just really didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was, but it's a marathon.
Also, as well, let's be honest here. There's an element of it that when you're about to do a marathon, you do forget the distance because, you know, whether we like it or not, it's now got to a point on social media where we're all doing these amazing, like hard things and you do get desensitized to it. So I think there is an element that a lot of particularly lads will watch marathon content and go, that looks really easy. And then they'll do it and be humbled by the first one, like massively. But then there's a lot of people that haven't still done that first one, but still have an opinion about it and make comments and think this isn't actually that hard. Or, you know, I could go and do one tomorrow with no training. Like, I feel like there's this toxic mindset amongst a lot of young people, even middle-aged people that haven't done it, that think they are entitled to feeling what someone else has felt when they haven't done it themselves.
Yeah.
And
even if they had done it, like that's your experience, that's your opinion.
Yeah. Like a 5K park run to someone could be the most challenging thing on earth based off, you know, whether their ability, whether it's a personal disability. There was a really amazing video actually. I know you're listening, Alex, but Alex Yee, his granddad, 91 years old, did a park run with him and he did it in 50 minutes or something like that. And his granddad, bless him, is like, he's staying active, but he's 91. But it was the most incredible thing. Alex did it with him. And it was just like one of these things. So someone could look at that and go, bro's done a 50-minute park run. He's 91. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible. He's getting out, moving his legs, doing something amazing.
But that's what I love about running. Like we're all running for different reasons. We're all out there with different training, different reasons, different abilities, different fitness levels. And I just don't think it's comparable. And I think social media has made it a sort of comparison game recently of different paces, different distances, and it just isn't that. Like with running, your only competition is yourself. I mean,
you versus you.
Yeah, unless you're literally a pro athlete and you're racing up against other pro athletes.
But it's still you versus you because
to beat your
because you know that your previous self put on a certain thing, and regardless of if you don't beat top 3 or whatever it is, you're still trying to beat that personal best.
Yeah. But I just know it's really hard nowadays seeing social media and seeing loads of different paces and times, then not comparing yourself to that.
Yeah, this leads us nicely into this question I got actually. Any tips on slow running? I'm just getting started and I don't want to lose motivation, but I'm seeing other people run quicker than me. I've been completely inspired by Izzy as a girlfriend of someone who also loves running. So this, for me, summarizes it perfectly. This girl is looking at social media and seeing people run a certain way. They're trying to also run that speed and they're really struggling with it.
And they're a girlfriend of someone
who's a good runner.
Who runs.
Yeah.
So literally me at the start, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the main thing I take from this is don't compare yourself to anyone because everyone was there once. And I think this is a lot of the big issue with the zone 2 and slower running is people think that their zone 2 should be the same as someone else's.
Yeah, you're just on your own trajectory. And I also think a lot of people don't share their zone 2 runs and their easy runs. And I think a lot of the time, I always share mine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of the time I'll see on Strava people labeling runs as easy runs, but their heart rate is not in zone 2 at all, and they're running super fast and they're labeling it as an easy run. So I think it's really hard to know what someone's easy run actually is. A lot of people skip out the easy runs. They don't do it. They don't think it's important. All they ever do is run one pace, which is their goal pace and how fast they can run. Because I think a lot of people, they just don't realize the importance of zone 2 running, basically.
I think it's the reason I got my big PB in Paris.
Yeah, it's really important.
I ran so much at zone 2.
But I think, so I guess what I'm trying to say to her is that you're on your own trajectory. When you're starting out, you're not going to be as fast as other people. Also, maybe just in general, you're never going to be, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Run at your own pace, your own distance, your own time, your own heart rate. I think for me, I found it really helpful having a running watch, so then I could see my heart rate to make sure that I'm in my zone 2.
Yeah.
Which everyone's heart rates are different as well. So it's so hard. It's just the classic, don't compare yourself to other people.
But it's impossible. Human beings, we're always going to compare ourselves.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, people will share runs and they've had a 20-minute coffee break, or they've said it's an easy run and it's not. It's not all, like all things on social media, it's never always as it seems. So
Sure.
I think it's really important to not compare yourself. And I think in terms of if your partner's running as well, I'll do Cal's easy runs with him and his will be easy and mine will be more of a threshold run. So that's how you can match it up in order to be able to still do runs with your partner, or find a friend that's at a similar pace than you so you can run together. It's really nice. But I think ultimately just remember you're in your own lane and you're doing what's best for you, and that's what counts.
That's all that matters, exactly. I want to move on from the marathon specific stuff now and talk about us. Because I feel like there'll be people that have seen us on social media, obviously seen you across my social media the whole time I've been at Fellas. And one question here, which is quite interesting, is how do you think I've changed throughout my time at Fellas to this point now?
So much.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, isn't it, to think back to? The person I was November 2021 is so different to the person I am now.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest change for me? Say what you like, honestly.
It's so hard because I guess I've changed so much as well. So I'm not saying you're the only person that's changed.
Yeah.
I guess you've just got so much more mature for one, but so have I. I think the overall thing that's happened is that you've got really into your fitness and your well-being, and that's become a huge part of your personality that it wasn't before, and you've had a real focus in on that, and it's just completely changed you as a person.
I've become so much more emotionally intelligent of myself as well.
You've always been so emotionally
intelligent. I have, but
always,
now I'd like to think I'm very emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, extremely. But yeah, I guess the main thing that's changed is you've got into your health and well-being so much more. I guess you've become much more of a wholesome person over the years.
I always look back to the old photos of me and go, how the fuck was Izzy with that?
That's so
not in a horrible way about myself, genuinely, but I look at myself and go, what defining features did I have that I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, but I've changed and matured. Like, I'll look back at some photos of me and think, God, I look so different.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, in my eyes, like, obviously when you look at comparison from like years ago to now, like you do look really different. But I mean, at the time, like if I didn't have a comparison now to look back on, I just think like, you're just Cal, you're the same. Like, it's not like a looks thing of how you've changed. Like, obviously you have changed loads in looks, but I've changed a lot as well. We both have. Yeah.
I think the main change for me is being more aware of people. Like, I feel like now I'm so much more aware of the impact that things have on people and impact that things have on myself doing it as a result. So like, I may, like, for example, that a part of the reason that I love doing this sort of content is because it's net positive. It's positive for me and it's positive for other people watching it. If they don't want to watch it, that's fine. They don't have to. They might be at a different level of their journey where they don't need to see that sort of stuff. They might be an elite, but even like elite runners have messaged me and said like, I love your pod because it's just real.
Yeah, I think, you really like putting out real content and content that's going to help people and improve people's lives and just share your story and stuff. Whereas before, I think it was all just like really fun and silly and reactionary and clickbaity and stuff like that. Whereas now, it's a lot more serious. But I think we've both changed. I mean, we've been together for nearly like 11 years now.
Yeah.
I think for me, in terms of how I've changed in our relationship, is I've become like just a lot more like self-confident. I think when I was younger, I was literally like so loud and so confident and so sure of myself. And then I went through like a bit of a middle stage in our relationship where like I really like came into my shell. And I was like really insecure. I didn't have the best relationship with food.
Yeah.
I thought literally everyone hated me. All my friends hated me. Like I was just like quite a like anxious, insecure person. I like lost my spark for years. And I guess like it annoyingly bringing it back to running again. But by taking up running and it's literally just changed me. I think just fitness and well-being as a whole has changed us both for the better so much. And that's been through our relationship. I think we both were in like different places before we found our love for fitness, and we just found like a new sense of love for ourselves, but then also for each other because we were doing it together, which is like so lovely.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Growing together through fitness.
All right, so one thing we've done is we started our own run club. Now, I think a lot of people probably looked at that and gone, oh, they're just content creators starting a run club. But there was a lot more reason to us doing that, wasn't there?
Yeah, I wanted to start a community thing for a really long time, but I wasn't just quite sure how that looked and what I wanted it to be.
You obviously wanted to start the community thing, and I was getting messages from like people saying, can I do a run club? So it was perfect really, because you wanted to build a community and I wanted to start a run club. And then you also really wanted to go to run clubs, but you felt really anxious to.
Yeah, I was too, honestly, all the run clubs just scared me.
Yeah.
I was just too scared to go to any of them. I was scared that people that would be like running too fast, or like everyone, it just looked like everyone had like their groups.
Their groups, exactly,
and, like,
yeah.
It just all just looked like scary.
I remember.
I wanted to make just like a friendly, approachable looking run club. And I
feel like we've
done that
now, which is really sick.
I hope so.
Because whenever people come for the first time, by the way, the weekend just gone was our biggest turnout yet.
It was amazing. Honestly amazing. I had 40
biggest London turnout.
People. Biggest London turnout.
Sydney was like 50, 60 people.
Yeah.
Actually more than that.
But yeah, 40 people last weekend. It was amazing. So many new faces. So many people come alone as well. I think that's a question we get quite a lot, is people asking, do people come alone? Because like me, they're scared to show up to a run club alone because they don't know what it's going to be like or what the people there are going to be like. But yeah, most people come alone.
You know what's great as well? The run club isn't about the running. I will sometimes catch myself when we're in the run and I'm at the front of the pack and I'm just I'm not really chatting to Emma because I'm trying to like just focus on making sure the group's paced nicely.
Wrong.
And yeah. Awful. Anyway, I know the route now, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I then just like zone out of what I'm doing and just listen. And I just hear like all of these people like behind us chatting. Yeah. And how many, like the percentage of those people that don't know each other and they're just chatting to a new person.
It's so nice. And then
because of us, it's insane.
And then we stay after and have coffee and pastries and chat for so long. Like so many times I have to be like, oh my gosh, we need to get back to the dog.
Yeah, because we've just been nattering for like an hour and a half.
For so long. But yeah, it's so lovely. And the community we're building is really lovely. Like some people from our run club came to watch us run London Marathon. We have our little clique community now where...
Clique, by the way, is the name of an app, not just like a clique.
Yeah, we're not like a clique. You can and sit with us.
But we've got like group chats on there and stuff.
We've got
Sick.
group chats on there. We're hosting events. Like we just did a really fun event with Yard Sale Pizza, and we're hoping to do lots more events soon as well. But yeah, no, I just love it. I love our club. It makes me so happy.
It is great, and obviously I'm so happy we've started it, and we're going to have some really fun things. Now I'm full-time content creator, full-time on this world. I'm going to really put some more time into it. And obviously we said together, because I was obviously working here, it would then kind of fall onto you to sort of be the brainchild behind it. But then it's nice to have it together. Like you need to come up with these ideas together.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot in the pipeline. And also because the Run Club's growing, we're going to be doing 2 different pace groups now. Yeah. Whereas before we just had one pace group, we all ran together. But now we're going to be introducing 2 different pace groups. So I
think I might make the first one like a 5:45, 6 pace.
Yeah.
And then you're going to do the 6:30 group.
The 6:30 will remain having like a nice, really steady conversational 6:30.
Because ultimately you don't want to come out as just get really, really sweaty and not be able to chat to people.
I think in general it's to come and have a chat and do like a run. Basically what we always say is we run as fast as the slowest runner, and that's always what we're going to be, despite like now we're going to have like 2 pace groups. Like each pace group will make sure that no one gets left behind. So
yeah, absolutely. No one gets left behind.
Where they're pelting off and there's people left behind and it's just stressful for everyone involved.
We had a shocking experience before Christmas, which it was, honestly, it felt so bad.
Someone got literally lost at the Run Club because everyone left them. But we don't do that. So.
No. Yeah. But look, if you want to come to an inclusive run club that you feel like will accommodate to your pace, you can be a fast runner, slow runner, whatever you want. We've got you covered. So
stay in it.
What's really sick as well this week, Fraser, you might know him, Sensational Sandwiches. He was injured, so he couldn't run, but he just came and just had a coffee with us all afterwards.
Came and just had a chat.
And then his mates started rocking up, and they were all non-runners, and they were just like all chilling with us, having a coffee. Like it was so nice because that for me was like that's building a community.
Yeah,
that's not just now being a group of runners, you know, and also as well, people come and meet people, and then they're just like, right, well, actually they're really sound, and I might meet my new best mate.
Yeah, no, there have been people that have gone and met up post Run Club or like gone for a run together or like just gone to the pub the other weekend together. Like people are doing that.
You know what was really sick actually? So when we did the Yard Sale Pizza Run Club, there was this guy who'd flown over from Boston. Was it near Boston? I think it was Vermont, that's it. He'd flown over, and the loveliest man. We were chatting to him after having some pizza. And then on the Friday, this was on the Wednesday, on the Friday, we held the fellas shakeout run for London Marathon. James Roundtree, by the way, who's like, he is the biggest stay-in-it hype man ever.
Yeah, he's OG.
Our go. He's been to every run club.
He's OG stay-in-it, our James.
And James came along to the fellas one and brought this guy along with him.
So nice.
And obviously he's only here in the UK for a finite amount of time, but James brought him along and I saw them both again. It's like, that is what it's all about. It's about making sure that people there feel included. And that's, shout out to you, James, because you embody what we want as a run club. And it's sick. Alex obviously comes to our run club. Shout out Alex Davis. He said, were there any dark moments during the marathon where you wanted me to shut the fuck up? Every kilometre? You can
How
say
much time do we have? No. There wasn't any I don't think there were any dark moments actually where I wanted you to shut. Surprisingly, I actually really enjoyed how you were throughout the marathon. I thought that maybe halfway in we were going to fall out, but actually we got along surprisingly well in the marathon.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was one moment where you just kept like speeding up loads and like revving up the crowds and getting like really into it, just like forgetting that I was really far back and I had to be like, Cal, come on, like you're going too fast. But I think that's the only thing really that happened, honestly. I think most of, I like, sounds really like soppy, but who gives a shit? Like, I remember just kept being like to you, like, I love you, like, and like just really appreciating you, and also like checking in with you, which I wouldn't normally do.
No.
But I was checking in with you and being like, are you okay? Like, sorry, like this is slow for you.
My quads were burning, by the way, and I just couldn't say anything because I didn't want to inflict any negativity.
Yeah, because it must have been hard for you running at the pace we were hardly running at some points, and that
there
was
a couple moments where I was walking alongside you running,
and I was literally just like, "Oh my god, can we talk about the sprint finish?" It's so funny. Like, I was literally, so you know Cal, I don't know if you guys have
we'll
seen
put it up on screen.
So you have seen Cal's Paris marathon finish where he literally, I don't know, he just looks so cool. Like all his content of like the Paris marathon, like him running with Jake, like it just like was so cool. He looked cool. It was very great. And in my head,
you tend to look better when you're running faster, though.
Well, in my head, I just envisioned that I would get some really cool footage of me like running and like going across the finish line and like that. And so we'd agree that Cal would do the same for me of what Jake did for Cal, which is like, for that final shot, rather than getting it of us together, it would be me like running across the finish line finishing. And there's a clip and I'm like, let's fucking go. And then I like sprint across the finish line. Anyway, like later on, and after like I'd got across the finish line, got my medal and everything, I was like, oh yeah, like can I see the footage of me going across the finish line? I honestly thought I would look like Usain Bolt, like literally like zipping across that finish line. It is hilarious.
It's like Looney Tunes.
It's so fun. My arms are like this, like it's cute though.
Yeah, it is very cute. It's a nice little memory. It's very you.
I was not zooming.
It's very you. Yeah. Someone's asked, when's our next High Rocks?
End of the year, probably.
Should we do one together again, or do you want to do? I feel like you should do a women's double.
Ellie and I are going to try and do doubles together.
Yeah.
Ellie's done one recently in Paris, so yeah, Ellie and I are going to try and do doubles together this year.
Yeah,
women's doubles, which will be nice.
I want to really see how much I can push myself on the run.
Yeah,
because like I feel like ours, I was very much like, I wasn't saying I was going your pace, but I felt like every run I was kind of holding it back a little bit.
Yeah, you would have been.
But also then the weights just fucked me. So I need to get in the gym. Yeah. And
we both need to get in the gym.
I just don't like it. I don't like it.
No, I'm really keen to.
I want to get muscly, stronger. Man. I want to be in good shape. Yeah. I've never been. I know this sounds so stupid because I literally like make content of doing running and things like that. I've never been in good shape.
What?
I've never been in like what I would consider to myself as good shape.
Never?
No, never.
What do you mean?
I've never looked at myself and gone, yeah, you're in good nick, Cal.
What about when you had that PT and I remember you had
didn't even feel like that good about it.
Up, like...
I didn't even feel that good about it.
What? That was crazy. Don't get in any better shape than that because then you're
I don't want to look like that. I don't want to look like that. I didn't like that all that fake tan bollocks. It was
that was so funny. But no, my next like two big goals. Like I definitely want to do some more high rocks. My next two big goals is to improve my 5K. Because I've never tried to go for a time for a 5K. I think my fast time at the moment is 26.
Which is in a session.
That was like without going for it. And I want to get stronger. So I want to be doing at least 2 strength sessions a week now. One with Paige and then one just myself in the gym. But yeah. Focus on those 2 things.
Mm-hmm. Are you excited that you've now got a colleague?
I'm so excited.
So can I just say this? Because I don't think people realise this. And this isn't me going boo-hoo, poor creators, like at all. Just don't get that twisted. But being a content creator is actually a very, very lonely world. It's so lonely. It's a very lonely, no, not lonely world. Don't get, that's not the correct saying. It's a very lonely industry. It's a very lonely job because you don't have colleagues.
Lonely day job. Like there's lots of socializing in it. Like we'll go to events in the evenings. There'll be lots of stuff like that.
There'll be sick opportunities. Yeah.
Message each other all the time. And I have friends, social media friends, but like a day-to-day job it's just so weird because you're just in your house. It's not like you're like going somewhere. You're in your house alone all day, every day by yourself. So I would literally walk Cal to the office every morning with Lola. I'd then walk home and then I'd just be like, this is it. Like, it's just me.
It's so hard sometimes to motivate yourself. If you're having a bad day and you've got no one to bounce off.
Exactly. Like no energy to bounce off. And then I'd have to film a video and then I'm just talking to myself or like to the camera, like cooking. Then I'm just editing by myself. And then Cal will come home from work and he's had like a really busy day of work. He's been talking all day. He's been with those people and he'll just want to switch off and he'll walk through the door and I'll literally just be like this to him because I haven't seen another human being all day.
Whereas I've been trying to ignore human beings in the office all day to try and get my work done.
Yeah, so
fucking Lewis just shouting his head off in the office.
I have a really nice girl group. Myself, Natalia, so that's Nat's Nourishment, Claire, Little London Vegan, and Ellie's Plate. So we have a little group of us and we chat most days in our group chat. We'll talk about work. We'll bounce ideas off of each other. We'll get lunches and coffees in as much as we can. Ellie I see at least once a week because she lives really close to me. So I do have like that little basin community, like colleagues, but it's going to be really nice to have you actually around a lot more regularly so we're going to do like work days together, we're going to do gym days together, we're going to motivate each other, maybe create a bit more content together. But yeah, it'll be nice to have someone around
for sure. I want to chat about our relationship like on a bit of a deeper level. Obviously we got together second year of sixth form, have been together for 10 years. Why do you think we have worked so well? And why do you think we're still in this spot we are today?
Wow.
It's a bit of a deep question. But genuinely though, I feel like, I'll just say my piece on it. We went for a while where we were like long distance. We were, whether you were down in Bournemouth, I was back home in Guildford, we were still long distance. We never we could just pop for a coffee together or anything like that. That was a tough period. But then as soon as we moved to London and moved in together, I feel like things have just gone, escalated so well.
I think we've just known each other through so many different stages of our lives. Because I think a lot of people think, because I'll get questions about like, how did you guys meet and how did you start doing fitness together or how did you start doing content creation together? But we were together way before any of that existed.
Yeah.
We got together, at sixth form in our final year, and then we went off to separate unis, and then Cal moved to London before me. So we've had a lot of long distance and a lot of different things to work through, and
we've had fucking tons of challenges. Yeah,
we've had loads of challenges. We've both called a break each, I think.
Yeah.
But I guess instead of giving up and just thinking like, oh, it's not for me, we've communicated and we've built and we've worked on our issues rather than just being like, oh no, I'm just going to sack this off, like can't be bothered. Like we've put the work in, and relationships aren't easy. Like they're not meant to be. They're meant to be challenging. And I think we've kind of just like, we've gone into those challenges head first rather than just ducking out. And there's been moments where like Cal's been doing really well and I maybe haven't been so much. And there's been moments where I've been like flying and Cal
Izzy used to be my sugar mama. No, genuinely.
Sugar mama.
Yeah, genuinely. Like, you used to be the breadwinner of the house.
I did, yeah.
You had a full-time job and you were a content creator.
And it was for an American company, so the salary was good. And I was a content creator at the same time.
Yeah, you were fucking breaded.
We've both been through like so many different stages of our lives, and we've accepted that, and the other person's like gas the other one up when they needed it, and then the other one's like gas the other one. And we've never really been like jealous of each other or like wanted to bring the other one down or suck the other one in. Like it's never really been like that. Like I think as a couple, we've both always been really supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really ever been any insecurity in our relationship, because I guess we've both always communicated with each other really well.
I can say this for a fact secure. Now. I would like to say I'm not a jealous person in general anyway. Yeah. I've never once been jealous in our relationship.
Yeah, neither. And I think we both have like, obviously all our friends are merged. Like we're all like, I'm friends with Cal's mates, like Cal's mates with my mates. But we do have like our separate groups, our separate friends, our separate things that we
even
do,
after
like,
10 years, I'll go out and see my mates and Izzy will see hers and we won't mix the groups.
Yeah. And then we have other evenings where we do mix the groups, and like my friends I know see Cal like a brother.
Yeah.
Like, they've said it to me before. Like my friends love you so much and they're so close to you. Same with my family. Like
yeah,
we're just embedded in each other's lives.
Your dad rates me more than he rates you.
Lies.
That's not a lie. That's a definite fact that Mark likes me the most.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. No, he does. He always likes my approval on certain things, and I always like his approval on certain.
Approval.
We've got that. We've got that.
We've got that. So much shit.
We've got that unwritten rule.
Your mum
between,
likes me more than she likes
probably
you.
Probably does. Genuinely, that's just my mum. But no, like genuinely, I think the biggest thing, and I don't want to sit here and say like we're the font of all knowledge, because we're not, but I think communication is key, and I think so many blokes are unable to communicate how they feel out of fear that their partner will make a judgment of them for whatever reason. Like maybe it's something that they've experienced in the previous relationship, or they've stupidly listened to something online. Like, be honest. Like, you can be honest with your partner. Like, there's no fear in like being told. Like, there's no fear of having a little meltdown.
No, and we've had stages where you've been like the really emotional one.
Yeah.
Where I've really been the really emotional one. Like, I think that's the point. Is like we're not a perfect couple. We've had lots of times where we've had issues, but it's just like how you deal with them and how you come out the other end.
And also holding your hands up and going, I've been a dickhead here, or just sort of holding your hands up and like accepting that you've done something wrong, is genuinely, in my opinion, top 3 life values that anyone can have.
Yeah.
Accountability is the highest level of class, maturity, and just being a good fucking person. If you can hold your hands up, be accountable for something you've done wrong, then you're a top tier individual. If you can't, then I don't think you ever grow as a person. That's my honest opinion.
Love that.
And I think you're very good at holding yourself to account on stuff. I'm very good at holding my self to account on stuff. Like that works quite well together. Almost. Yeah. Have you got any questions you want to ask me? You want to pin anything on me right now?
I don't think so.
Oh, I was hoping you had some fiery questions for me.
I didn't know I was meant to prep questions. Sorry.
All right. So what? Okay. Right now I've got a good one. What's my best value as a human being?
Your best value?
Yeah.
I feel like you have like a very strong sense of justice, and you always have done. And I feel like that's always been like the strongest part of you, and it's the bit that's like, can't get my words out.
Most prevalent.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I know I have a good sense of what's right and wrong.
Yeah, you've got like a really, really strong sense of what's right and wrong, and you've like developed that a lot in our relationship. I think early on in our relationship, you hadn't quite learned how to manage that.
I had it, but didn't know how to manage it.
You didn't know how to manage it well, so it would make you like blow up like loads when like you felt like something was unjust.
Believe it or not, I weirdly went through a phase of every night out I went on, I'd get into a fight.
Yeah.
Which is so weird to think, because I'm the most placid person. And also when you used to play
football, you'd come home and like have had fights at football because you'd get really angry because someone had done something like unjust, and you'd hate it. But like weird. now it's good. You go the right way most of the time.
Nah, all the time. No. All the time. No, of course. Yeah, everyone makes mistakes. But yeah, I think for you is your incessantness to make sure everyone in your like club, in your circle is happy. And I know that sounds really wishy-washy, but it's almost like you will not stop until you know the people that you love are happy.
Yeah.
And I think that is just such an amazing value, because so many people just sort of shut off when things get a little bit tough for certain people. You know, whether it's a friend that's reached out to you because they're going through a really tough time and they shut off as a person. You're the person that is calling them at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to make sure that they're in a good spot. Like, you're that friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want everyone to be happy and good.
Yeah. Okay, the final question I have for you then. London Marathon, 4 hours, 55, 12 seconds.
Wow, I didn't even know that was my time.
Yeah, I know your time.
Wow.
4 hours, 55 minutes and 12 seconds. Are you done there? Is another marathon on the cards?
I am not done.
She's not done. Are you eyeing up any races?
I'd love to do Berlin. So let's see.
Potential.
Yeah. I know that I've got a lot more in me.
Flattest course as well.
Yeah. And yeah, so I've got my, what's it called?
Base level.
I've got my base level now, and yeah, I'm ready to come back stronger. I just need to get a lot more strength training in and get this sorted.
I think we'll put a pause on pacing each other for races, or me pacing you for a race for a bit, and just I want to let you do your own thing and fly.
Yeah, I want to do a marathon alone in my own head, and going to Berlin would be quite cool because I wouldn't have anyone in the crowds.
Yeah, apart from
I know that sounds weird, but like it means I'm not going to be like going and hugging everyone and like getting emotional and stuff like that. Like I'm listening to those middle-aged men in the comments of our video. Yeah. I'm not stopping. I'm not hugging anyone. Yeah. I'm not losing.
Well, no, I'll be in the crowd. I'm not running Berlin, by the way, so I'm not going to. Yeah.
Well, I'm not, but I've got my eye on it. It would be a good one to do.
Manifestation.
And I blow you a little kiss in the crowd like what you do for me.
Yeah.
I won't be stopping.
And I can hand you the electrolytes this time.
Yeah. So that could be pretty sick. But
look,
yeah.
Iz, thanks so much for coming on. I'm glad we finally got this done. It was sick. Nice chatting. But guys, obviously, if you've got any questions for Izzy and I, please do just drop them in a comment or a message or whatever. Last week, obviously, first episode onto YouTube. So thank you so much to everyone that supported that. It was so great to finally have Jake on. And also to kick off this new era in a way with a guest that really brings so much value to you guys as viewers, whether you're someone that's a really experienced athlete or whether you're someone that's getting into the sport recently of high rocks, of running, whatever that is. It was so great to chat to him. And yeah, thank you for all the support. And there's going to be so many amazing things to come. But thank you so much. Iz, where can people find you?
On Instagram, Issy Sedgwick, TikTok and YouTube.
Also, you're vlogging a lot more on YouTube now, which is cool. Yeah,
I'm trying to vlog a lot more now. Just Izzy Sedgwick. The spelling will be somewhere because I spell Izzy with S's and there's no extra E in Sedgwick.
Okay. All right. Well, perfect. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to follow on audio platforms, give us a 5-star rating. And then also as well on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, notification bell on. I don't think notification bell does much anymore. But yeah, look, I'm glad people are enjoying the pods. So many more great guests to come. And yeah, it's just sick. And also, please, let me know what you want to see on the set. I'm kind of been a bit torn what to put on there. So like I've got 2 more episodes recorded after this. So Izzy, this one goes out this week. And then I've got 2 pods in the can for the 2 weeks after that, which won't have anything else on the set. But in a few months time, I want to start filling this up. So if you've got any ideas, let me know. I'm going to get some medals up, I think. Get some running shoes going.
That globe's a bit random. Yeah, there's a lot of just random bits.
Oh, it's because it's a multi-purpose set. Maybe you should start asking them to get my own set, guys. Look, thanks so much for watching, listening, and I'll catch you next week. Take care.